You ever wonder if there's like a secret blueprint for your life? Some hidden logic behind why things play out the way they do, why you keep meeting those people or facing the same challenges over and over again? Well, today we're going to dive into a really old framework that tries to answer exactly that. And we're going to start with a feeling that, let's be honest, we all know. Yeah, you know the feeling. It's that crazy sense of déjà vu, right? You're in a situation that feels way too familiar. You make a choice you know you've made before, and surprise, surprise, you get the same frustrating result. You tell yourself, okay, next time it's going to be different, but it never is. The cycle just keeps going. So what gives? If we're supposed to be learning from all this, why do we keep forgetting the lessons? Well, the source material has a pretty amazing way of explaining this. Think about it for a second. Can you name every single kid you sat with in first grade? I mean, of course not. It's just gone. Well, the idea here is that our past actions, even from past lives, fade away just like that. We don't have a conscious memory of them, so how could we possibly learn from them? Which, of course, brings up a really big question. So, right, if we're not consciously choosing to repeat all these patterns, then what is? What's the invisible force that's keeping this wheel spinning around and around? Well, the answer, according to the source, isn't some kind of external destiny or fate. No, it's something way, way closer. It starts right here, inside our own minds. And this is the engine driving the whole cycle. The source calls it the unstable mind. You know what this is. It's that default mode where you're not really here. Your focus is just bouncing all over the place, right? Pulled by whatever shiny object catches your eye, or whatever random desire pops into your head, or, and this is a big one, whatever old habit just automatically kicks in. It's like your mind has no anchor. And that image of a spinning roulette wheel, wow, it's just perfect. An unstable mind is exactly like that. It's just spinning wildly, totally driven by these fleeting likes and dislikes. One second you're obsessed with this, the next second you're pulled over to something completely different. There's no real direction, no intention. And so your life's path ends up being just as random and unpredictable. And this constant search for stimulation, this is what kicks off a really powerful chain reaction. See, it's not just a bunch of random thoughts floating around. No, it's an active process. A process that literally creates our future reality. And it happens in a pretty clear 4-step cycle. Okay, so here's how it works, this unseen cycle. Step 1. Our senses are out there chasing after stimulation. Sights, sounds, you name it. Step 2, that chase triggers these mental reactions, what the source calls defilements. Things like greed for what we want or anger at what we don't. Step 3, we act on those feelings. We say something, we do something. That creates a karmic action. And then, step 4, that action plants a seed for a future consequence. It's a chain. And the crazy part is, we do this all the time without even realizing it. The source actually points to 10 key unskillful actions that shape our future. And we're not talking about some huge, dramatic, evil deeds here. We're talking about everyday stuff. Like, take our speech, for example. 3 of them are right there. Lying, using harsh words, or divisive gossip. We think, oh, I'm just venting, or it's just a little white lie. But in this framework, nope. You are actively programming a negative future for yourself. So every one of these actions, every intention behind them gets stored away. Think of them like seeds being dropped into what the source calls a storehouse consciousness. They don't just vanish into thin air. They're all in there, lying dormant. A huge collection of potential futures just waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect moment to spread. Okay, but this brings up that question we all ask ourselves, right? Why did that job offer come through now? Why did I meet my partner that year and not 5 years before? It all feels so random. But according to this whole framework, there is a very precise, very specific logic to the timing of everything. And the answer lies in this amazing principle called nianzun. It basically means causes and conditions. So the nian is the primary cause. Let's say that's your karmic seed. But that seed can only sprout when the right supporting conditions, the yuan, all show up. The plant seed analogy is perfect. A seed has all the potential to become a tree, right? But it's not going to do anything until it has the right soil, the right amount of water, and sunlight. Same idea. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap of the system we've laid out. You've got the engine, which is our unfocused, unstable mind. Then you've got the fuel it's burning, and that's the karma we're creating with our actions. And finally, the timing of it all, when everything actually happens, is all down to that perfect alignment of causes and conditions. Now, that sounds pretty automatic, doesn't it?
which leads to a huge question.
Exactly. I mean, if our mind is on autopilot and karma is just this automatic chain reaction, are we just passengers here? Are we just along for the ride, doomed to live out some script written by actions we can't even remember? Well, the source gives a very, very firm no. And this is where we get to take the power back.
It all comes down to a fundamental choice between two ways of acting. The default mode, that's acting on habit. That's when you just let your feelings and your impulses run the show. That's pure autopilot. But there's another way, acting with wisdom. This is where you use your awareness, your understanding, to consciously choose what you do based on knowing the consequences. And in that moment, you stop being a passenger and you become the architect.
And this is really the core message here. It's about empowerment. Destiny isn't some fixed place you're headed to. It's a vehicle, and you have a choice. You can sit in the back seat and let your unconscious habits drive you all over the place. Or you can climb into the driver's seat, take the wheel, and start steering intentionally.
So how do you learn to drive this thing? Well, the source gives us a pretty clear roadmap. First, you have to really acknowledge that your actions have consequences. Simple, but crucial. Second, you learn the connections. You see how certain deeds lead to certain outcomes. Third, you use that knowledge to start making better choices, to choose with wisdom. And finally, and this is the real key, you practice. You just practice and practice until this conscious effort becomes a totally natural instinct.
You know, I absolutely love this final analogy. Think about a baby. A newborn knows how to eat, right? It's not a miracle, it's just natural. It's a deeply ingrained instinct. And what the source is telling us is that with enough practice, acting with wisdom can become just like that. It can become so intuitive, so much a part of who you are, that you don't even have to think about it anymore. It just happens.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's really a message of radical responsibility. The life you're living, the cycles you find yourself in, none of it is just happening to you. It's being built, constructed by you. In every single moment, with every thought, every action, you are the author, you are the architect, you are the builder of your own reality.
And that brings us right back to this very moment. Your next thought, your very next action, is it going to be just another habit, an unconscious reaction, another spin of that roulette wheel? Or are you going to pause, take the wheel, and make it a conscious choice? The blueprint, well, it's in your hands now.